I never expected my own family to break into my building and start dividing my property like it already belonged to them. But what they didn't know was that the judge already knew the truth. Asterisk, I was reviewing tenant applications for my downtown building when my phone suddenly buzzed. It was a video call from my cousin Amy. She looked nervous. Maya, are you checking the family chat? I sighed. I muted it 6 months ago. Why? You need to look at it. Her voice was low, almost scared. Mom is hosting Sunday dinner at your building. I froze. Which building? The 842 Sterling Lofts. My stomach tightened. That was my building. All 4 floors, purchased 2 years ago for $1.8 million through my property development company. I slowly opened the family chat. And what I saw made my blood run cold. Photos. Inside my building. My mother standing in the lobby, smiling like she owned the place. Messages from my siblings were scrolling across the screen. Mom, I want the 3rd floor. Corner unit for my art studio. The 2nd floor is perfect for me and the kids. Dad and I will take the penthouse. And then the message that made my hands start shaking. Ground floor retail space goes to Maya. She works from home anyway. She doesn't need much space. I stared at my phone. My own family was dividing my building. Like it already belonged to them. I called my property manager immediately. Devin, are my family members inside 842 Sterling? Yes, your mother called yesterday and said she was the building owner. My jaw tightened. She said you gave her keys months ago. I closed my eyes. I had given my mother an emergency key last year when I had surgery. It was supposed to be returned. It never was. I picked up my laptop, grabbed my ownership documents, and walked out the door because something inside me told me this was not going to end peacefully. 20 minutes later, I arrived at the building. My attorney James was already there with 2 security officers. I could hear voices and laughter from inside the 2nd floor unit. Ready? James asked. I nodded. Let's go. I unlocked the main entrance and climbed the stairs. When I reached the largest unit, I saw them. My entire family. 15 people. My parents. My siblings. My aunt. My uncle. Even my cousins. There was a buffet table set up in the middle of my living space. My mother was smiling. Perfect timing. Mia, we're just finishing the space assignments. Assignments for what? I asked quietly. For the building division, of course. She said. She spoke like this was already decided. Each adult sibling gets a floor. Your father and I get the penthouse. I raised my hand. Stop. The room went silent. Marcus turned from the window where he was measuring wall space. Maya, don't be dramatic, he said. Mom is just organizing how we will share the building. I took a deep breath. This building is not a family asset. My voice was calm, but dangerous calm. I own this building through Apex Property Development, LLC. James stepped forward and opened his briefcase. He placed property documents on the folding table. Purchased 23 months ago for $1.8 million. Sole ownership. There are no co-owners, no family trust, no shared partnership. My father picked up the documents. But Maya, you bought this with family money. I interrupted him. You gave me $20,000. 8 years ago, when I started my software consulting business, I paid every cent back within 18 months with interest. I have the canceled checks. Silence, because they knew I was telling the truth. My sister, Vanessa, crossed her arms. You never said you owned an entire building. I invited all of you to the grand opening 18 months ago. The invitation said, Apex Property Development Presence. None of them came. You said it was just your little real estate hobby. Marcus said. James spoke again. Miss Chin owns 3 commercial properties and 5 residential buildings. Total portfolio value, approximately $8.3 million. The room felt smaller now, like the truth was pressing down on them. Mom shook her head. This can't be right. The building was empty when we came here. I answered calmly, because the residential units were between tenants, and the penthouse was where I live. I looked directly at her, and the place you were currently trespassing. Dad's voice rose. We're family. You gave your mother keys. Yes, I said, emergency key. Not permission to break into my building and host family property meetings. One of the security officers stepped forward. Ma'am, we can escort everyone out. Aunt Linda suddenly looked uncomfortable. Maybe we should leave. This seems serious. Mom's voice hardened. No, Maya needs to learn about family. This building is too much for one person. She is being selfish. James spoke. Coldly, double quotes, Mrs. Chin, your daughter owns this property outright. You have 0 legal claim. But family shares, Vanessa said. I looked at her. What needs do you have that are not already satisfied? Marcus looked away. Vanessa had just returned from vacation. Dad played golf 3 times a week. Mom had renovated her house last year. None of them were struggling. They just wanted more. Because I had more, I opened my phone. And showed old messages. Marcus, you can barely afford rent? Vanessa, stop making up stories. Mom, let us know when you need financial planning. The room was silent. Except for the sound of Vanessa's children watching nervously. James pulled out a paper. This is a trespass notice. If you return without written authorization, you will be arrested. Dad's face turned red. We are family. I answered quietly. Family does not break into property and divide it like inheritance. Marcus stepped forward angrily. So you're kicking us out? You embarrassed yourselves, I said. The security team moved people toward the stairs. Cousins left first. Aunt Linda followed without speaking. Vanessa rushed her children out. Mom stopped at the door. Her eyes were wet. I can't believe you are doing this, your own mother. I can't believe you stole my keys and tried to give away my property. She left. Only Marcus stayed. He was staring out the window. Already posted on Instagram that I was moving into my new loft. Then post a correction, I said. He slammed the door on his way out. That night, every lock was changed. Security cameras were installed at every entrance. No one could enter without my approval. The next day, the family chat exploded. They said I had them arrested. Nobody was arrested. The security guards were professional, but my family was rewriting the story. 3 weeks later, my mother tried using the old key. The alarm system notified. Police arrived and issued a trespass warning. She told relatives. I called the police on my own mother. The coffee shop tenant downstairs sent me a thank you card. They said increased. Security made them feel safe. 6 months later, the building was fully occupied. Rental income was steady. Property value rose to $2.1 million. I refinanced and bought my 4th commercial property. Meanwhile, Marcus posted photos of his small apartment studio. Stay humble. Don't sell out for money. Vanessa called me new money with no family values. Mom sent messages saying I abandoned my family. Nobody apologized. Last year, I received a lawsuit. My mother and siblings claimed they were entitled to ownership based on verbal family agreements. James laughed after reviewing it. No contracts. No proof. Case will be dismissed. I told him one thing. Don't settle. 2 months later, the judge dismissed the case. They were ordered to pay my legal fees, $11,200. They were furious after the lawsuit failed. Something interesting happened. Marcus asked if I had entry-level property management jobs. Vanessa wanted real estate advice. Dad said he wanted to be a commercial property partner. I said no because they did not want reconciliation. They wanted access. My portfolio now includes 6 commercial buildings and 8 residential properties. Annual revenue exceeds $2.3 million. I employ 12 staff members. Last month, a magazine published my story, from software consultant to real estate developer. My mother called the magazine and complained that they didn't mention family support. The editor told her they only print verified facts. I framed the ownership documents of 842 Sterling lofts in my office. Not as a symbol of wealth, but as a reminder, ownership is not just a name on paper. It is responsibility. Risk. Work. Sacrifice. My family wanted the reward. Without earning it, they hosted one Sunday dinner in my building. And thought that was enough to claim it. But buildings don't work like that. Success doesn't work like that. I changed the locks at midnight, and I never looked back, because sometimes the most important word in business is the same word you need with family. Boundaries. I own my buildings. All of them. And no Sunday dinner will ever change that.